Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I am filming my November wrap-up, almost the last month of the year, and I ended up reading 37 books, which seems to be really frequently the number I land on, and I don't know why. I didn't read 40 books this month, had one manga night on one of the readathons, so I read extra obviously because of that. I read lots of other stuff that I probably didn't need to read. I really struggled figuring out what to read this month, but it was kind of fun to just pick stuff. Also, I don't know how to explain it. But without further ado, we're going to talk about all these books, and it's a lot of books, so let's get started. The first book I read for the month was If We Were Villains by Al Rio, and this one I read on audio reread with Erica. It was the next random audiobook that was picked out, and obviously I really enjoyed it, which is why I wanted Erica to read it as well. It's a really stample dark academia book that is very much enjoyable, and I just really like the characters. I like the mystery. I don't think it's my favorite of all time. I'm not giving it 5 stars. I do give it 4, but it's still very entertaining, really well written, and as I said, great characters and great mystery to it. I just don't love Shakespeare. It's a lot of Shakespeare, but it's very dramatic. They're literally doing theater, and it's so dramatic, and everything is so dramatic, and it's extra dramatic because they're talking about Shakespeare, and then they're kind of doing Shakespeare in real life. Not really, but it feels like a play because everyone is so dramatic, and that's why it's so enjoyable. I gave him a strong 4 out of 5 stars and had a good time. It was a good little reread. We actually started the last month but didn't finish it until November. Then I read A Word with Our Princess by Suman Chainani. This I read for Bishop Wardathon because it was to have good in the title, I think. And this is the sequel to the first School for Good and Evil book, which follows Agatha and Sophie, who are best friends, and then one belongs to the dark side and one to the good side kinda. And then I was gonna say don't fight about it, but they become friends and not friends, and friends and they're enemies but they're not enemies because they're friends forever. So it's a whole thing, but it's really fun. It's a lot about friendship and kind of a spin on fairy tales, etc. And I do enjoy it. I didn't love the messages this had as much. The first one was really fun, but this one I was oh, why is this the message of the book? So I thought that was a bit weird, but it was still enjoyable overall, and I did like it. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I was trying to low-key participate in 5 books support group, even though I didn't announce it anywhere. So trying to look at the challenges that was for final book in November and then pick out stuff for that. And then that's why I read 9 Liars by Maureen Johnson. This one is the final one coming out right now in Truly Devious, but there is definitely coming more because it's ended on a cliffhanger. And this follows Stevie Ray, who started school where the wife of the owner and his daughter, they both disappeared, and well, we don't really know what happened to them, or at least the daughter. And then she's trying to solve this mystery that's in the first 3 books in the trilogy, and then it's now 2 standalones, the one before that, and then this one. But then definitely more is coming. I thought the mystery in this one was really weird. I kind of didn't care. I was why are we solving this? Most of the story was actually more about the relationship drama, and I was okay, so we have a book that's literally following a detective and then focusing on the relationship drama. So I was kind of bored. I didn't like this as much as the others, just because of the change of perspective in the story. So I gave it 3 out of 5. So in the beginning of the year, I picked out series I need to finish, and I randomized it. So I picked out this one Norwegian series called The Klima Quartet, which basically is different stories about climate change. So I decided to pick out one, the second book, Blue, or Blå by Maja Luna. That's the author. This one follows that the world doesn't have water and people are struggling. In the first one, it was the beast disappearing. So I read this kind of a final book support group, and then I kind of gave up. I was oh, I'm not going to finish the rest of the series. I'm failing my challenge. But then, this was later in the month when I didn't know what to read. I also picked out Przewalskis' Hest, which is the 3rd book in the series, which follows that horses have kind of disappeared. The stories are always told in different timelines in the past, in kinda where things started to go to shit, and then in the future where we see things hang on to shit, but then there's also hope. And then the last one was The Dream of a Tree, or Drømmen by Maja Luna. These 2 I picked out right after one another later in the month when I didn't know what to read, and I was oh my god, I completed it. It's only 4 books. I don't know why I gave it up, but I just didn't think I had it in me to read all of them also in a month, but I was just okay, I'm gonna finish that challenge. Last year I failed because it was 1 series I didn't finish. This year, or it was actually 2 I didn't finish last year. This year I've completed them all now, so now I'm ready to pick out new ones for 2024. Very excited, but overall I'm just lol, I just did it in a month. I put it off for so long because I didn't want to, and it wasn't even that bad. And the one I actually ended up liking the most, I think, was Blue. Out of all of them, I didn't personally love the first book, and then actually the horse one, which I didn't think I would like. Then maybe like the first one, and then this, I think. But it's just very interesting to me that I finished it. Thought wouldn't do it. I thought I wouldn't have to do it for like do your shit-a-thon, which I'm gonna do with my patrons next year. Where like read the shit you said you were gonna read, which you did last year. But then I just did it, so I'm like, wow. Obviously, the whole series is about an important topic, etc., etc. I just think that the books weren't like amazing as I thought I would like them, but they're still enjoyable. Then I read one volume of Bungo Stray Dogs, which was volume 16. This is following this armed detective agency that solves these cases, fight this mafia. Right now, we are in the middle of these huge arcs, like fights, which have been going for like a billion volumes, and I love it. But I'm like, I don't remember what happened in the last volume every time. So I should read it obviously a bit more consistently. But obviously I love the series so much, so dearly. So then I picked out a final book for our book support group, which was championed by Marilu. Obviously she added another one to the series later, so I haven't actually completed it. I just have forgotten that part, even though I follow a different character. I put this off reading this for a long time. I read 1 and 2, like read a long time between them, and then I finally read this one. It's like a YA dystopia series. The world is shit. Control, blah 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 blah, revolution, blah 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 blah. We follow these 2 characters, and I was like reading it, I was like, wow, why is this the story? Why is this the ending we are getting? I was literally sitting there like, what's going on right now? So I didn't personally love this. Right now I can only remember the ending. What happened in all the stuff in between? Shit happened. It was okay, it was fun. I think the second book was maybe my favorite, because their shit happened. I don't know what I was doing at this point. I think I was just starting on my TBR. So I read She's a Haunting by Trang Thanh Tran, which is a like horror book set in Vietnam, and I thought that I would love this because honestly, look at this book, like it's stunning and it seemed really cool. But I felt off the whole book because of the writing. I didn't really like grasp what was going on. It was a really like vague book. It didn't give answers, not that it necessarily needed to, because like it's like a vague horror thing. But it was like we were in a haunted house and we were not in a haunted house. And I was just sitting there after I finished. I was like, what did I read? Is it me? And then I started to read some reviews, and it seemed like a lot of people were feeling the same, like they were really hyped. And then they read it, and I was like, what? Like, it's such something to do with how it's written. It wasn't approachable. I couldn't grasp the story, and I was very disappointed. I think I gave it 2 stars, which is like, I'm so sad about that. Like, look at this, and like, there's expectations I had. I just couldn't grasp the story and get myself into it. I was confused about everything, and it wasn't even that complicated. I just didn't understand. I guess maybe the right word is because someone will understand and like it probably, but like for me, the writing didn't work for me at all, and I didn't like it, which is fine. Then I read Icebreaker by Hannah Race. This was this figure skater and this hockey player, and they start having sex basically and fall in love. There's a lot of smut, even though the smut scenes were short, and I would rather have fewer of them but longer scenes. And then the whole thing just became really long. They communicated, but there was just so much back and forth. It wasn't like miscommunication, it was just so much back and forth. It was so long. We could have cut 100 pages of this, and it just never ended. I was like, can we just figure shit out now? But yeah, it was entertaining for what it was. I gave it 3 stars, I think. Then I had my little cozy Patreon readathon. The vlog is already up on my channel. Started out with Stardust by Neil Gaiman. This one follows Tristan, who's gonna go and catch a falling star for the girl he loves. And he goes out on this huge adventure. It was much harder than I thought it would be. Like, the book form was cuter, it was chaotic. I really enjoyed myself. I had a really good time. I really want to rewatch the movie now. And yeah, I think I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Maybe like 3.5, but rounding it up to 4. Then for the readathon, I decided to do another manga series, which I did for my last Patreon readathon. And I found like a cozy one. I read Orange by Ichigo Takano, which is like not cozy at all. It follows this girl who gets a letter from herself in the future, 10 years in the future. And it says like, you need to save this boy because he's not alive in the future. The whole thing is very sad and depressing. It's about depression, but it's kind of cozy because a lot of our friendship as well has cozy moments. So it kind of worked. I had read this part before, but never like the actual second part. I had watched the whole anime, so I knew how it was going to go. And as I said, it's like it focuses a lot on mental health. However, I do think while it is a good story, well written, and it's good to have like attention on mental health, I think also the fact that these kids need to save this other kid, mental health, it's like a weird message to give, because I'm like, that shouldn't be on another 16-year-old. But that's just a thought I had when I'm reading it, because I was like, why are these 16-year-olds trying to fix this? Like, I'm not saying that they should just leave their friend behind. They should be supportive and be there for him, and they did all their best. But just how I was represented, like, just because you did this one action, you could save him or not. It was just like, but like, it was still an enjoyable story. It was just things I was thinking about now, but it was still like a good story. But I'm also like, they could have asked for help from someone. I don't know. My message is just that it's not on a 16-year-old to save their friend that is down. They can be there and be supportive for them, which is super important, and not leave your friend behind and be there. But there's other people that can also help you. It shouldn't be on your shoulders. That's what I'm trying to say. And obviously, since it was a cozy readathon, I had to read a romance. I read Astrid Doesn't Fall by Ashley Herman Blake. This is the second book in the Mystic Fall series, and it follows like a different sapphic couple. So this one we had a builder and an architect, and they fall in love. It's very cute. I really like this series. It's just something just going to my heart, and just these characters that really like are so wonderful on page, and it's just very, very enjoyable. Really loved the Lila Green, and really like this one, and I have the newest one as well, so I really want to read it, but I waited a whole year between those two. So who knows when I will actually read Iris Galley. But just a very good romance series that I very much recommend, and I hope you will read it if you like romance series. Then I read the first Moomin book, which is Småtrollene and oversvømmelsen, which is like the big flood, I think, something in English, by Tove Jansen. This is like the first official book in series, and it just follows Moomin and Moomin Mama, the mother, looking for the dad, and it's been a flood, and then they are going around looking, and it's very chaotic and weird and very cute. It's obviously like really tiny, it's like 50 pages. But obviously it's still a book, and I'm including it here, and I read it because I knew that Momio was going to be cozy. So it was a good choice for a readathon that is cozy. Another good cozy pick was Before Your Memory Fades by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This is the third book in Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. This one is set in Hakodate, which I was like, didn't know that there was other cafes in the world, because I'm pretty sure number 1 and 2 was in Tokyo, if I don't remember incorrectly. I live in Hakodate when I was in Japan, and I was like, oh my god, we're in my town! And it was so fun. Not that we are even out in the town. We just, in the beginning, we just made the atmosphere, and then we were inside the cafe the whole time. So the cafe, obviously, we can travel in time in, and then we had different characters doing it for different reasons. Mostly sad reasons. It's a lot of the times going back to visit people who had died. But it's very, very sweet, very like wholesome, and it's a very, I think, just really chill, sweet series to read. Now my last book for the readathon was Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. This one is obviously also a romance, and is the YA by the author, and it just follows these two characters that have hated each other for many years now, and now they need to maybe, I was gonna say work together, but they are interacting more than they would normally do, and then they might or might not fall in love. And I liked it. I thought it was cute. I just didn't like love it. I like the Brown Sisters more, but I think like for what it was cute and entertaining. I think I rounded it up to 4. Gave it like a 3.5. Now, after seeing this book around for 300 million years, I finally read Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mullers. This one is a book that I was intrigued by because of the title. I was like, Cleopatra and Frankenstein, what a weird combo. It's not at all about anything to do with Cleopatra and Frankenstein. It's just what they call each other, because one was named Cleo and the other one was named Frank. They're trying to make themselves more interesting. That's the whole point of the book. He is like 40 something, she's like 20 something. They get married, and then we have their marriage might or might not survive. It's their lives. It's about the people around them in life, like the best friend, the sister, and it's just they're living their really messy normal lives, and it was super boring, and I was so disappointed. I was like, it's not even interesting. It's trying to take up like important things in the society, etc. It says people said it reminded them of Sally Rooney. I've seen Sally Rooney fans say that that's not correct, but I got Sally Rooney vibes from this, and I don't even love Sally Rooney, so I was just like, I'm bored. I think I gave it 3 out of 5. I just didn't care. I don't care about reading about normal people's lives. This is like a very specific book in a way. I don't know how to explain the ones I like where it is about normal people's lives. Then I read My Dress Up Darling by Shinji Fukuda, volume 7. Follows this dude that makes cosplays with this girl. And now we are preparing for a school festival. I don't love it. I'm just keep reading them because I need to finish the series. It's just entertaining. It's fine. It's just a bit like whatever. Then I read A Venom Dark and Sweet by Judy Eileen. I picked this out because I wanted to finish another duology. And in the first one, I make her to like enter a competition to get like a wish thing to save her sister at this point poisoned. This one we continue that, not competition, but like the aftermath of it. I just didn't care. I normally like didn't find the first book like amazing either. It was okay. I think I gave it 3. I gave it just 3. It was a fine like overall trilogy. I'm not saying I wouldn't recommend it. It's good if you like these kind of stories. I'm just saying that this one particularly doesn't stand that much out of my mind to like love it completely. Oh my god, would die for it. But they have stunning covers, and it's like it's a fine Asian fantasy that if someone asked me like, do you have any recommendation? Like, this could be on the list, but it's not like one I would go on thinking about. I don't know how to explain the difference, but it was okay. I liked the first book more though. Speaking about Sally Rooney, I read A Conversation with Friends by Sally Rooney. This one was a girl that has a affair with this married man, and yeah, that's like kind of the whole thing. And then they're together, they're not together, blah 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 blah. I just kind of don't care. I didn't really care for normal people either. They were annoying, miscommunication shit. The whole thing was about them like, we're together, we're not together, we're together. And I was like, ugh, I don't care. And I didn't care about these people either. So that's what I got to say. I think I gave it 2, 3. I don't actually know. Then I read Asian Magus Bride by Kori Yamasaki. This one is volume 4. I'm still like in the reread. I think I read up to 6. Like, I'm gonna actually continue the series. I just don't remember anything, so I need to reread them. This is about a girl named Chisa who is bought by this dude. Sounds terrible. That wants her to be his wife, but she also has magic, so she's just training the magic. I don't actually know if they ever got married, but he just says that in the beginning, like, I want you to be my wife. And it's really weird, because she's like a kid. She's like 15, I think. But that's manga for you. Either way, I'm trying not to think about that. And then just, it's a lot about like discovering magic and stuff in the world, like dragons and fairies and different stuff, and like what's dangerous and not. And then it's just kind of magical. It's actually very sweet. It sounded gross when I just described it, but it's sweet. Either way, Fox Snare by Yoon Ha Lee. This is the 3rd and I think final book in a Thousand World series. I'm not actually 100% sure, but that's what I think. And it has full of different different people that can turn into other, like one can turn into a tiger, the other one like a fox thing. And then they've been like trying to fight for this dragon pearl in 3 books now. It is based on Korean mythology. It's sci-fi. It's very fun. One of the characters is non-binary, and I just really love the series overall. And it's just adventures and chill and fun. And I was gonna say space adventures. That's fun. Then we have The Hammer of Thor, or I'm gonna say something else of Asgard book 2, which is by Rick Riordan. I found they continue this randomly. It's a fun story. We follow different or meet different Northern gods, and we fight, and we try to find the Hammer of Thor in this one. And I really like Magnus. He's very chaotic and fun. Overall, really enjoyable series. Don't know what else to say, because it's fun if you just write on what you expect. Then I read A Holy Jolly Ever After by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone, which is basically like this series following like different couples, but they don't know each other. We basically follow this boy band and then like the different members of the band. And in this one, we have one of the members and another girl. They're gonna film like a sexy movie together, and then she doesn't have any experience. Like, she has had sex, but really bad sex, and then they need to practice on each other. And you can just think about what will happen next. It's a fun time. It's a fun time. I thought that the beginning of this was really fun, and then we got into a weird trope that I didn't really enjoy, and then the book became really long again, and it just kept talking and talking, and I was like, why is this book so long? Just cut the last 100 pages, and I just, at the point, didn't care if they added up together. I just wanted it to be over. But like, yeah, that one trope where we ended, I was like, what is this really happening? It was so weird, but that was a choice. Excited for the 3rd book. So I ended up reading 4 volumes of Demon Slayer in the month: 17, 18, 19, and 20. 2 of them I read for Manga Night, and the 2 others were just like the next on the list. And I'm just talking about all of them together. Demon Slayer is about Tanjiro, who his whole family is killed by a demon. His sister's turned into one. He's trying to find out a cure for her. And now we are in the last arc. I'm not okay by any means. Things are going down. It's so intense right now. I want to like peel back my tears. I have 3 volumes left. I'm not emotionally ready. I'm not ready at all. Like, obviously the ending has been out for a long time. I have no idea how it ends, but I cannot wait to see it. And just the last arc now has been so strong. The one before I like didn't love, but it was still entertaining. And like this one is just, it's blowing my mind. I can't believe that we could have had like, I feel like 50 arcs, and the author just ended it here after like what, 4, 5, and I'm like, you did that, and that is amazing. But also like, why did you end it here? I want 45 volumes. But either way, I love it. I love it a lot. This last, like, as I said, arc is just blowing my mind. I cannot wait to continue, but also I don't want to continue. So you can, yeah, But yeah, I read 4 volumes of one manga in a month. Doesn't have that often, but it was just it's kind of random, but not. I don't know. Then I read Milk Fad by Melissa Broder, which was Sarah's pick in a Gun Machine for the month. I don't know how to describe this book. We follow Rachel, and it says a lapsed Jew who has made calorie restriction her religion. So like she's very like intense of what she eats. She has an eating disorder, I would say. And then she meets this other woman who's like a very Orthodox Jewish woman, and then she starts to feed her, and then also they get feelings for each other. But obviously, Miriam, the Orthodox Jew, doesn't want to be out. There's like a whole thing there. It's really like it's a lot of sex scenes. I was really surprised by that. And she has like sexual, like really intense images on main character, which I was like, okay, we are going through this whole thing. And it's about like we have a very messy main character in general. She does interesting choices. It definitely is an interesting way the book ended. So this was much more interesting than the other books I had here about normal people, definitely. But I don't know how I feel about the story. I was just like, what? Well, like I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. Like it had some really fun and interesting moments. I was kind of like, what is going on right now? It's very bizarre, but it also brought up really like interesting and important things as well. So it was a confusing mix of it all, where like I thought it was doing really cool things, and then I thought it was like, this is so weird. So like I know that this knew what it was doing. It was a smart book that knew what it was bringing in. Like when things were weird, it knew it was being weird. Yeah, I overall like liked it. I don't know what I would rate it though. I left the rating blank. I think maybe 3.5. But like that, because if he's 4 is too high, but 3 is too low, so I don't know. It's very weird. I don't know if I've described it really well here, but it's definitely a unique book that this is the kind of messy normal people I want to read about, at least. Then we're suddenly in manga night, so I read One Piece 16, 17, and 18. This was the next one I need to read, and a like full vlog is obviously coming where I read this. Love One Piece so much. Love this story so much. Can't wait to read the next one because we really like, I would say, maybe not closing in on the end of this arc, but like things are scrambling together, and I'm like so excited to see it play out. It's gonna be massive and so fun. So excited. Also read Frankenstein by Junji Ito. This one, first 200 pages of this is literally Frankenstein in Junji Ito lens. Very fun. I was so shocked of how much I enjoyed that part. Really fun. The next parts were like different short stories. Didn't love all of them as much. Some were really good, but others I was like, eh. Overall, Junji Ito is a master worker, obviously, but still not beating Uzumaki. Will anything ever? I don't know. And I also read a Jujutsu Kaisen, volume 19 by Yayoi Hakutami. Follows Itadori who swallowed a finger and has a demon inside of him, going to school to fight demons. It's a whole thing. It's really weird. We're in this thing now where I think understood what was going on. After like 5 volumes, I'm like, no idea what's going on. But now I think I got it. Maybe. So I'm excited to see how this will play out. But I think it's going to take a little while. And I'm like scrambling in the end of the month. I was like, what am I going to read? I don't know what to read. All the things I can read, it should be next month. And then I had like a limited amount of days. I have 6 different vlogs that I'm doing, theme vlogs. So I'm like, okay, let's read for all those vlogs. At least make some progress in some of them. So I read Ulv, which is Wolf Wolf by Victoria Unstad. This is a Norwegian like horror book between like ages, I would say 9 to 12 maybe. And it follows this boy who really wants to make friends. So he does some, I was going to say questionable things, but he has a neighbor who's really scary and like is a threatening and abusive man. And then he's like doing stuff to show off for his friends. And then he comes in danger and then stuff plays out. He had a nice message of who's truly your friends. It was a bit spooky for a certain age. I do think that our main character could have a bit more self-reflection, even though like, yes, it is a children's book, but like we could reflect on all of these other things, then we can reflect on ourselves as well. But overall, like, fun, enjoyable, entertaining. It knew what it was doing. It was like for the age. I would recommend it, and it's fun to read. Have some Norwegian children's books Rex in my mind. Then I finally read Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This one I have owned since I read Recursion earlier this year. Really love that. I thought that this wasn't as good as Recursion, personally. I like that one more. I like this one, but it has this concept where our main character is kidnapped and sent into a place where nothing... His wife is not his wife, his house is not his house. It's hard to figure out like what is going on. yeah, it is fun to see the revelations. There was just something about how I was pounding a certain like message thing over and over. I just like kind of didn't care, and I didn't think like the reveals here was as exciting as in the recursion. And I think that the best parts of the book was least focused on. I don't know how, I don't want to spoil it, but like the best parts of the book, what I found most intriguing was kind of like the side thing, and the main thing was what I just didn't care about the wife and the son. So like that was the main thing. I was like, I don't care. So yeah, but it was still entertaining, and like I like how like it's kind of like I truly like that it's not a good thing what's happening. The same with the recursion, and then it's like this amazing cool concept. As I do like what Blake Crouch comes up with. I just like didn't love this as much. Then I read All Systems Red by Martha Wells. This one is for the start of Murderbot read along on my Patreon for all tiers. And I have read this before, but not the others in the series. Really enjoyed it, had a good time. I think it made more sense the second time now I read it. And I'm excited to talk about it with my Patreons. Give it 4 out of 5, I think. And I'm feeling like this is just the beginning, and I'm excited to see like the development this time. Since obviously I only read this first one, and then it's been like 3 years. But now I'm ready to like get fully into like all of them. I finished off the month with Witch, the 12 Portals Volume 1. Or Part 1 of 12 Portals Volume 1, it says. I've read this before, actually 3 years ago. And then I was going to read the rest, and then I never did. So I read 1 and 2, and I never continued. So I want to read all of these like new ones. And it follows these girls that finds out they have powers. And I'm going to save the world. I will like protect the world. I watched the series obviously when I was a kid. Loved it. So I'm very excited to get through the actual comics as well. They're very different, like different things happening. And I'm like, because still can't really remember like the series. I thought the same thing the first time I read it as well. Which is funny. That was all the 37 books I read this month. Really glad I could put some together. It takes shorter time. And that is all I got to say for today. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a little raw bot down below if you enjoyed this. You should see me soon in a new video. I hope you enjoyed Vlogmas. It's starting tomorrow. And then you should see me in a normal sit down video in like 26 days. Goodbye.